All right, guys, welcome to the Hungry for More call. My name is Julius Gilgren. I'm excited to share with you guys some tips that I went over this week with an agent of ours that had some struggles helping a client out. And so, in sales, guys, whether it's insurance, whether it's, car sales, whether it's retail sales, whatever the case is, there's some similar principles that apply to every form of sales, right? And what I want to talk to you guys about today is specifically two things that can help you not only with what we do, but really across any form of sales. And the reason why is because once you understand this concept, once you can implement this into your business, this is going to make your job so much easier. This is going to allow you to connect with people more. This is going to allow you to really service people. See, there's a difference, guys. There's true sales positions, and then there's positions where you're actually servicing someone, where you're selling them, but it sounds like service. It feels like service, right? Because at the end of the day, no one really wants to be sold. Would you guys agree with that? No one likes to go into some sort of business and feel like they're being sold. They want to be serviced. They want to be helped. They want someone to consult them, but they don't want to be sold, right? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So the first thing is, this is what you guys got to really get good at. And the sooner you get good at this, the easier this becomes. And this took me a little bit in the beginning to kind of get used to. And actually, Matt was someone that really helped me through this process at our practice company. And then, it really was different here at FFL because it's just a different approach to how you're doing things. But the main thing is regardless of what business you're in, retail, insurance, solar, whatever the case may be, your first thing that you have to master is finding the need, right? In our business, we call it the why. What's the why? Or another way that it could be referred to is, what's the problem, right? What is the problem that this customer is having? So I was speaking with an agent the other day, and she was talking to this client about why they requested information on insurance. And when I asked her why, she said it was specifically about the client, or specifically to protect the wife. They had no insurance. The client passed away. The wife would be in a tough financial situation, right? And so then as we go through it, I'm asking her questions to understand what she did, what happened. And she kept talking about how she screwed up, right? And I'm like, let's not worry about how you screwed up, but let's focus on what the learning is here, right? And, I gave her this example. I'm like, all right, we've all been to a retail store, right? We walk into, Macy's, Dillard's, any type of retail store. We're looking for clothes. Maybe we're looking for a car, whatever the case may be. But we walk in, and the associate comes up to us, and we're like, hey, can I help you? What's the first thing we say? No, I'm good. I'm just looking, right? Everyone does that. I do it all the time. Right? But what do the top salespeople do? How do they really sell more? Well, they start asking some questions, right? So the way to really understand the client's why, the way to really find the problem or the need is you got to ask additional questions. So if I'm walking in a store, or let's say someone's walking in the store and they're looking for something and they don't know what, they're just like, hey, I'm just looking. Okay. I'm going to ask a question. Okay, well, you looking for a special event? You going somewhere? What's going on? Oh yeah, I'm going on vacation. Oh, okay, cool. Where are you going to? I'm going to Bahamas. Oh, awesome. Okay. But what am I doing? I'm just finding information, right? Okay, so are you looking, now I can just ask some questions, kind of process of elimination. All right, are you looking for some swim trunks? You looking for some tank tops? What's got you in the store today? Oh, I could use some tank tops. I can maybe use some swim trunks, right? So now what have I done as an associate that's in the retail store? I'm starting to narrow down what this person is looking for. What are they needing, right? What's their need? So now I can guide that person. Oh, okay, well, hey, we have some that are over here. We have some over here. You might want to check these out. So now I'm actually able to help and point them in the right direction. So in our business, right, that's obviously an analogy for retail, but in insurance, right, it's no different, guys. Okay, so if something happened to you yesterday, what does the next 30, 60, 90 days look like for Mary? And you wait. Oh, she's fine. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we've got investments. Okay. Hey, Mary, if Bob passed away yesterday, what are you going to do today in the next week? What investments are you going to tap into? Right. What I'm doing is I'm leveraging the couple against each other. Now, this is obviously in an in-home scenario where you have both people sitting in front of you, right? But I'm going to ask the wife, what do you guys have to get clarity, right? Or if you're just speaking with the person maybe virtually on the phone, okay, you have okay, what are those investments, right? Oh, I have, 5,000 over here, or 3,000 over here. Okay, well, are you looking to have a cremation or burial? I'm looking to have a burial. Have you ever looked into the cost? Do you know that the average cost of a burial nowadays is about 20 grand? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, that's my job, is to make sure you understand, and make sure we can get you something that makes sense for you, right? But also something you can qualify for. So, it sounds to me like you don't have anything in place today to take care of Mary. Is that right? Yeah, not for a burial. Okay. But what am I doing? The goal, what I'm trying to get across here, guys, is you want to ask additional questions, right? So do you have any insurance in place already? No, I don't. Okay. What are you looking to accomplish? Do you want to have a cremation or burial, right? That's a kind of an entry level. Now, if you're doing, for example, mortgage protection, one of the questions I like to ask is, the person that's going to be the beneficiary, are they going to be moving into the house? Are they going to rent it or sell it? What does that look like? I'm trying to understand, do they just need to buy time, or do they want the house paid off? If you're in final expense coverage, are you looking to leave behind a legacy, or you just want to make sure that all the final expenses are taken care of? Okay. Have you applied for insurance before and maybe been declined? Right? I'm trying to get an idea. Have they been shopping? What have they been doing? What's the need? Where are they at? Yeah, if they've been declined, now you can get some additional information. Okay. Are you dealing with some major medical conditions? What's been preventing you from getting approved with some carriers, right? But all I'm doing, guys, is I'm asking good questions, right? So one of the keys to this business, probably the biggest key to this business, and I learned this early on, what I was doing was the sales approach that I was trained back in my previous days, which was almost pushing myself onto someone, right? Well, let's this makes sense for you, right? Let's go ahead and get this 5,000 in place to make sure she's not a burden. You're not a burden on her. Well, versus asking it in a form of a question to make it their own thought, right? If you're pushing, it's a lot of times the clients are going to be defensive. But if they put up their guard, right? They like putting up their shield. But if you're asking questions to make it their thought, right? Now it's like, oh yeah, you're right. You're doing it without doing it. So I'll give you guys an example, right? So I asked you the question, hey, what does it look like 30, 60, 90 days if she passes? I'm assuming you fill this out because you don't want to be a financial burden on your wife. Am I right? Yes. You get them to agree, right? You get them to say yes. Okay. So, here's another example. You obviously want to ask the beneficiary, right? You got to understand the beneficiary. You want to understand who, what, where, when, right? What does that look like? The more you can understand and the more you can rephrase that and summarize that to them, and then tie that off with, that's exactly why I'm here. Now they know you're on their side. Now they know that you're there to help them. Does that make sense, you guys? I'm trying to, I really want to drive this point home, guys, because at the end of the day, when you're able to ask good questions to understand their problem, now you're able to come up with a solution. And so now, instead of you selling what you're doing or the service you have or the product you have, you're providing a solution to their problem. And now they see you as someone that can consult them and actually help them. So that's number one. But in that, you're really doing two things, right? So number one, you're finding the problem, you're finding the why. The second piece of it is you're being a good question asker or an interviewer, right? You don't necessarily have to, let me say this differently. You want to make sure that you're painting the picture in the form of a question, okay? That's the other piece of it, is as you're asking questions, you want to be able to paint the picture, right? Because if the client doesn't have a picture in their head on what it's going to look like, you're not accessing that emotional part of why people buy life insurance, right? Life insurance specifically is to protect the ones that are still alive, right? And a lot of times you might hear someone say, well, I don't care, I'm going to be dead, right? And that's very selfish of them to say, but the point of them is in the moment while they're alive, like, well, you love your wife, right? Well, yeah, of course I love my wife. So I'm assuming you requested this information so you don't burden your wife regardless of you being here or not. Yeah. And sometimes like you almost got to say like things to really get them off guard. For example, like you wouldn't want your wife to have to remarry because you didn't take care of her financially, would you? Dude, I've said that before, right? I've said that before, but now they're like, wait, what? Like, hey, as the man, our job is to provide and protect for our women. If you're no longer here and you can't protect and provide her, she's going to have to find another person to do that. You don't want that to happen, do you? No. Okay, well, let's make sure we take care of that then today, right? So, but what am I doing, guys, is if you notice, everything I'm doing is in the form of a question rather than a statement to smack them between the eyes, because when I started, everything I was doing was a statement. And don't get me wrong, you have to make statements, but the point of this is when you can take what you're trying to say and you convert that into a form of a question and you get them to say yes, or I agree, or I understand, and now it's their thought rather than them just saying, okay, yep, you're right? You wanted to do it so that the wheels are spinning in their head and that what you're thinking becomes their thought. And now they're realizing that, okay, you're right, and I need your help. How can we fix this? So it's real simple, guys. You want to number one, you got to find the need, the problem, or the why. Okay, find the need, the problem, or the why. Once you find that, you have to understand in our business, in sales, that is our biggest ammunition. You should not be saying things like, hey, let's just see if you can get approved. It's only $22 a month. Like, don't worry. You can afford that, right? It's $1 a day. Right now, some people financially might be in a constraint given everything going on, but you need to focus less on the amount of money it is and focus on the problem you're fixing and the solution that you're providing. The more you do that, the less the monetary stuff even comes into play. Guys, I don't even talk about, like, once we get to the point of trying to close a sale and help a client with insurance, after I've showed them the 3 options, I've painted the picture. If there's any objection, I'm not going with, let's just go ahead and see if we can get you approved and we can go from there. I'm going back to, well, hey, you said you wanted to make sure that if something happened to you, Mary's taken care of. That hasn't changed in the last 10 minutes, has it? No. Okay. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So maybe this is just a little bit out of your price range. If I showed you something maybe a little bit, lower coverage, is that maybe, more comfortable for you? What seems to be the hesitation? Because we know that you need something to take care of Mary, right? But what I'm doing is I'm always going back to Mary. I'm always going back to the who, the what, the where, to make sure that whatever that problem is, that's the ammunition that you bring up at the end when you're trying to close, to bring back the emotional trigger, to make them understand why we're doing this, because no one wants a new bill. They don't. Okay. But if you can get good at that, understanding the problem, providing a solution, painting the picture of what it would look like without the solution, and then anytime you have an objection, you're going right back to the problem. You're going right back to the why, and you're going right back to, this is why this solution makes sense. You will close more deals, guys. It's not about the dollar. It's not about the price. It's about the value you're bringing to them, right? People don't buy life insurance because of it being life insurance. They buy life insurance because of what it does for them and their family, the money it leaves behind, the problems it avoids. And so the people that do really well in this industry are the people that find the problem and fix the problem, give a solution. And so I wanted to make sure I shared that information with you. I wanted to make sure I shared that training with you, because if you're focused always on the price, you're focused on just submitting an application, let's just go ahead and see if we can get you approved. More than likely, they're going to cancel if you can get them in through the application, because you didn't cement the sale. You didn't make sure that they understood why you're there and how this is going to help them. So, guys, if you found value in this, go ahead and like the channel, comment, do all that crazy stuff. But otherwise, guys, this is how you get better at sales. This is how you increase your conversion. This is how you help more families and make more money. So hope this helps you guys. Till next time, we'll see you later.